What's up YouTube, Koi51 here, time for another video, and it looks like we just got bombarded with so much Persona 5 news, it is ridiculous. But it's good for us the fans, because it answers so many questions that we were left wondering after we were watching that damn trailer. Oh, it's still an amazing trailer, I'm still watching it right now. Oh, as of this moment, it's like reached like 2 mil on YouTube, which is insane for a trailer that is like the most niche trailer ever created. Like, seriously, it's for a series that we don't really know much about. So here, like, we've got pretty much an interview with the 3 main guys from the Persona team, which is the director himself, Katsura Hashino, character designer Shigenori Sojima, and music composer Shoji Meguro. And this is from Famitsu Persona 5 interview. And the good guys at Persona Fan Channel pretty much compiled an entire sort of translation of everything. I'm gonna have a link with I'm gonna have a link in the description to their Facebook page, because they are an amazing group of individuals who pretty much just gave us this is because I can't read Japanese, so this is a godsend. So I want to give a shout out to them. They are an amazing group of fans. So let's get straight into it. I mean, you know, I wrote Persona 5 news to really emphasize that this is the official word from the creators. This isn't speculation. This is concrete, like concrete. So we've got our. It's all split into sections. So I'm going to be reading out the entire section, and then I'm going to have my thoughts on it and my sort of opinion on it. Well, we got. I think we've got the director first, director Katsura Hashino. So I'll just read it verbatim. Here is the up-to-date compilation of all the information in Famitsu's Persona 5 interview with director Katsura Hashino, character designer Shigenori Sojima, and music composer Shoji Meguro. Protagonist. The protagonist is a second-year high school student who has recently moved to the big city and lives with his parents' friends at a coffee shop named Sumikon. The protagonist's unique persona is called Asuna, presumably derived from the fictional gentleman thief Asuna Lupin. Hold up. Now, if you guys watched my analysis video, I said it was a coffee shop. There you go, it's confirmed, it's a coffee shop. I knew it wasn't the bar from Catherine. It just didn't make any sense. I could see people making connections between Catherine and this game, but the fact of the matter is, it's a Persona game set I know you can argue that Catherine does take place in the Persona universe. There's evidence of that, especially if you play the female side of Persona 3 Portable. But I still don't think that it's so much as a connection that it warrants like repeat locations. We will see like references. I mean, Persona Q had just flat out Catherine references, but then again, Persona Q is canon, but not. I'm still trying to finish that game. So the protagonist is a second-year student. So yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of deal with like a Yu Narukami. You start off as a senior. So I'm sure we're gonna get like first year sort of teammates. I mean, it's kind of a given. Like when you give like. I just assume so, because it makes sense. Like Persona 4's characters, half the cast were actually first years, and half the cast were second years, and one was Teddy. You know, it's not like I hate Teddy or anything. It's just, you know, it's I do love Teddy. It's just, you know, I prefer the cat now because the cat's awesome. So Sumikon. I'm not sure how I feel about that name. I mean, it could mean something really special in the thief world. I have no idea, but it's a cool name, Sumikon. Maybe that's not even, like, I don't know, maybe that could be translation error, we don't know yet. I'm hoping it's not, because you know, some of this information has to be true, right? So the protagonist's unique persona is Osune. So Osune, I did some, I don't know if it's pseudo, I read it somewhere, I'm not 100% sure if it's correct or not, but Osune is the, it's not Sherlock Holmes. Is it the rival of Sherlock Holmes? Like, this is where my mind just goes crazy, because I keep thinking, if it's like if we as the protagonist is playing as Lupin, a Lupin character, a thief with a heart of gold, someone who to really like go look up to, root for. Of course, there's going to be two sides of a coin. There's going to be a character that opposes that sort of ideal. I mean, it's shown in every, like, it's shown in the Persona game, Persona 4. I'm sorry if I'm making a lot of references to Persona 4. It's just, it's the last game I played, so it's the most thing that's stuck in my mind. But, like, having, if you have Persona 4. Culprit, I think it was Culprit was the code name. Culprit was the polar opposite of, like, Yunarakami and his gang, who was searching for justice. He represented everything that had nothing to do with justice. So are we going to see a rival character? I'm really hoping so. I mean, is that someone who's in the... Like, I brought this up in a comment in the last video. Is it someone in the police force? Like, what if we are actually... Like, what if some of the teammates that you go on the way are actually part of the police force? So the side of good, like, generally the side of good is like police. So what if we're seeing, like, really ourselves as the bad guys from maybe a social standpoint, but not so much as we think ourselves are bad. Like it's so, like, there's so many lines that you can, like, blur the lines between that make this story, could make this really interesting of a protagonist, because, you know, we don't know much. Like, we know enough now to really draw the lines. Like, maybe this is, yeah, like, Izanagi and Izanami. What if this is Lupin and Sherlock? And that sort of dynamic. I'm sorry if I'm losing my voice, but it's an interesting setup. It's definitely interesting. I mean, you know, like, I do worry that they're giving away too much, but, you know, that doesn't really matter. Like, I think this is the most the most interested game in the series by Western audience, because it's so big now. So of course we're going to be digging. Like, maybe like before Persona 4 came out, they were showing Izanami. The thing is, in Japan, Izanami is a very well-known legend. So what if this is like, what if this is Katsura Hashino's attempt to really give a Western sort of like they listen to, like, they know about the Western interests. So what if they're trying to incorporate Western sort of legends and ideologies into it, which is really interesting. Yeah, that's all I got for protagonist right now. So next we have story. Now, story. Unlike the heroes of Persona 3 and Persona 4, the protagonist of Persona 5 has a problem of some sort that, if not faced down, I guess that means taken care of, could spell big trouble in the future. The sequence in which he looks like a prisoner takes place in what could be called a mental prison. The protagonist meets the other two characters and the cat creature in the trailer at the beginning of the game. The other two have their own life problems as well, and the cat creature is mysterious, can also transform, and is the key to the storyline. There are reasons behind why personas appear as enemies that the cast are facing. However, Hashino is remaining silent on that point, as where the protagonist fights take place. Now, this is actually really interesting because it does confirm a few things. Maybe stuff that I brought up in the analysis trailer. I mean, keep in mind the analysis trailer I made straight after that video was made, so I tried to pick as much as I can. Of course, some are wrong now, some are proven definitely wrong. You know, like maybe like Jason Statham as the military guy, which I still think is pretty cool. Unlike the heroes of Persona 3. So what this pretty much tells me is that Persona 5, these characters are going to be very interesting. From the offset, we're going to, like, this Persona series has always been known about character development, and having these characters really being fleshed out throughout the game to the point that you really do care about them. So from the start of it, we are presented with characters that are very reminiscent of, like, Persona 1 and 2. I say Persona 2 specifically because some of those characters, if you play Persona 2, they are damaged characters that are really full of depth and full of personality as well. And that's what I'm getting from this like information. Like it's definitely a callback to maybe that style of writing that they used to do before they started doing 3 and 4. It's definitely a darker tone now, which does reflect the older Persona games. Like all of this is just really cool because I always thought that Persona 3 and 4, 4 especially, was kind of light-hearted, and then Persona Q is pretty much the carnival of the entire series, of the entire 3 and 4 saga, because pretty much that game is about having fun. Like all the characters' personalities are inflated to ridiculous amounts to bring comedy, which I really enjoy. Because if you go into it thinking it's a serious Persona game, you're gonna get half. You know, like if you accept it as sort of a spin-off that's fun, you're gonna get that. With Persona 5, on the other hand, I really do think they're doing that callback to Persona 1 and 2, especially with the tone, which is yeah. So that's pretty much all I can say about that. The introduction of a mental prison. So that frame that we saw inside when we see the 2 attendants rendered in 3D for the first time, that's where my mind goes to when they say mental prison. I'm not 100% sure what they're going with this, but if it's a place where they fuse personas, that makes sense. But what if it isn't? Like, what if it isn't a place where you fuse personas? It could be something completely different. It could be just a place where you become incapacitated. If it's a separate entity to the Velvet Room, then what is its purpose? Like, we don't know what its purpose is. I mean, we do know that the 2 attendants are there. So, maybe it's more than likely the mental prison is linked to the Velvet Room. We just don't know why yet. And we see our protagonist, not Vincent, chained down for some reason. We don't know what that means. We don't know what function this room has. You know, like, and more can tell, but we do know that it is separate. It is not called the Velvet Room. It is a mental prison, which, if you think about it, every other Persona game doesn't have that sort of link to a separate room that's within the room. And by the room, I mean the mental prison to the Velvet Room. They're separate because why would you give them a name that's different unless they served a purpose? So that's what I mean by that. So the Velvet Room, and we don't know the connection between the mental prison and the Velvet Room for now, but it could very well be just the same thing. So that's interesting. The protagonist meets the other 2 characters and the cat creature in the trailer at the beginning of the game. So it's pretty much the same as Persona 3, really? Like, you meet Yukari and Junpei at the start of the game. Fairly at the start of the game. Not so much Junpei, but like Yukari and stuff like that. So, and the cat creature. So I'm assuming that they're all together. I'm not sure how to make of that, but the other 2 have their own life problems. Again, calling back to Persona 1 and 2. These are damaged characters. I can't stress this enough. These aren't like the like these could be really, this could turn into something that's really like real life, real problems. I mean, like we have like as a juxtaposition, we've got Persona 4, which had Rise as like the idol with troubles. We have Kanji with the questioning of his own sexual identity and sexual and his own like personality, and we've got Yosuke, who pretty much has a has problems, right? So what if this is just an extreme version of that? Persona 5 in particular, like we got like in Persona 2, where these characters were like having trouble. Like one of them was like maybe like one of them's homeless, one of them like maybe money troubles have caused their lives to just go into ruin. There's so many things that we can draw from that, but from the trailer itself we can tell that maybe the that character that looks like Junko, Anzu, I don't know, An or Anzu, is a dancer, so maybe something's related to that. Maybe she's having problems, maybe like something's wrong with that, but like it's on a deeper level. Maybe it's on a more serious level. Like maybe there's like I don't want to bring crazy stuff into it, but like what if it's something really dark, like domestic violence, or something that's so themes that are so, and topics that are so like kind of taboo, but not really taboo. Like, we know it happens, but what if it's introduced to a character like this? What if the best friend has problems where he, like, maybe he's part of the Yakuza? We don't know, but we do know that, like, this is a step up in terms of, like, character development, because from the trailers alone, we know that they're having fun, they're having freedom. It's interesting, like, they want to, like, they all have big troubles, like, it's, you know, like, of course all Persona characters have trouble, but, like, they really put emphasis, like, life problems, right? Like, they really put it. And again, the cat creature, we don't know anything about it. It transforms. It's speculation wise, it could just be like maybe a shadow, a good persona, something that similar to Teddy, you know, like similar to Teddy. But again, the director Hashino has remained that the cat is the fixed point for everything, so we have to wait until we know more about the cat. So now we go on to theme. I apologize, this is a long video, but there is a lot of information, so I wanted to just go through it. Theme. Instead of the flash seen in previous Persona summoning sequences, it looks like it will be a snap instead. The latter is the sound used to refer to something snapping, like someone's patience is running thin and hitting breaking point. Okay, I'm not sure how to... I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So instead of the flash, okay, snap. Maybe it could relate to maybe his mental state. Maybe because he, like, the characters now obviously aren't really, they don't have the restrictions of the world now. And what I mean by that is they are criminals. So what if they think along those lines? And what I mean by that is, like, I could imagine Adachi from Persona 4 snapping a lot, really frustrated a lot, and he was the criminal. Crap, I just spoiled everything. Oh, that sucks. Well, can't really say culprit anymore. He's Adachi. He's a bad guy. So, that's a fail. So, yeah, so I can imagine him snapping. So is that sort of the same lines of what they're trying to convey? Oh my god, what if Hashino was listening to everyone and saying Adachi was the best, and he made a game throughout that? Ooh, that's next level. But, again, it's just speculation. I could definitely see what they're going with. Like, what if the teenagers right now don't really think of them, like, they just, like, snap because of frustration, snap because of other reasons, like snapping because their lives are, like, could be really crap. And they just, like, they don't know how to properly process that, and they're just like, I want to break this chain. I want to just, this chain that's holding me down, and this persona, like, this persona comes out of me. What if what's the case? I think that's the case. So the theme of pretty much being held down by society and want to break or snap chains to gain your freedom, I could see that happening. So, alright, so so that's what I've got to say for that one. The next one, Animation Studio. The animation studio that is handling Persona 5 animes, scenes is Production IG, and that studio's anime director is the one who suggested the character figure skating scenes in the trailer. Oh my god! Yo, Production IG. I think most of us would have really just blew our minds if they said Ufotable, but we'll take Production IG. We'll take it. I mean, you know, we'll take them. They're great. They're a great anime studio. I mean, they did pretty much every single Tales of opening that I could remember before Ufotable stepped in. So they did a great job, and some of them are the most memorable opening scenes. So, you know, I'll take them. Really, I'm not sure how I feel about the animation studio switching over from internally, which was Persona Team, which still holds up today. Like, you look at Persona 3 Fez's cutscenes, they're still pretty good. Really stylish. Switching over to Production IG. I mean, on the one hand, yes, it is a benefit, because one, it kind of takes some of the pressure off of the Persona team so they can focus on Persona 5, and gives them to an external studio. The only problem, and I'm sure Katsura Hashino is like there in the production IG offices every freaking day, making sure those cutscenes are perfect. And the fact that they were the ones, like, they have a little bit of input into it to make it easier for them is really okay. So you can take so many things from this. One, like, this shows that the anime director himself, the ones who's doing all the cutscenes, is actually, like, he's super involved because he is talking to Hashino really closely, and he's making sure that the anime scenes that they want to provide are done in what the game director Hashino wants. So there's absolutely, like, they're talking and they're making sure that everything's correct. So I have complete faith in that team. I mean, we don't want, like, some situations where the animation studio just does, like, are given, like, a piece of paper showing what they need and they just do whatever they want. No, they are actually making sure back and forth that Katsura Hashino is happy with this anime cutscene. So I have complete faith in them. Production. Because it is the first time Personas are being used for high-definition platforms, the development process was particularly arduous on that front. I totally agree, because the last games you made were for the PS2, and then porting them over to the Vita, and using the same assets, you know, it's a hell of a lot easier than creating assets for a HD console. Especially since you announced that it was going to PS4 as well, so you're working pretty much double the amount that you originally intended, because you originally wanted Persona 5, Hashino originally wanted Persona 5 to be just a PS3 exclusive, but knowing now, it's the best move they could have made, making it for PS4 as well, because PS3 is not being manufactured anymore. No, they are. Like, I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's definitely, the install base is big, but it's not growing. And what Persona 5, like, what Hashino was probably looking at was he needs a growing and installed base. So he did the best of both worlds and also satisfying a huge amount of fans, because some fans upgraded to PS4, and some fans stayed with PS3, but in this case, it went with both. I mean, it's the same sort of case with Guilty Gear Xrd. They're both amazing versions, you know? Like, if you put them side by side, you can't really tell the difference, so I'm assuming that that's the same with this. But I'm hoping that they do add some extra bells and whistles into the PS4 version, just so it's a little bit more, it doesn't get as much flack, if you know what I mean. So, production. Okay, so combat and exploration. Now, here we go. This is the good stuff. Combat and exploration. The game starts in Shibuya, but takes place in various parts of Tokyo as well. The battle system will be turn-based with improvements to previous Persona games. There will be randomly generated elements in the game, however, major places in the story will be structured to emphasize the burglary theme. Each theme has their own distinct firearm for long-distance weapons, however, they aren't actual guns, yet are still effective in combat. Huh, that's interesting. Now let's bring it back a bit. The game starts in Shibuya, but takes place in various parts of Tokyo as well. So that means it ain't just Shibuya. Awesome. That means we get a bigger area to work with. That means we get a bigger area to explore. I assume it's, you know, like if I'm thinking, I'm comparing, I think Persona 2 and Persona 1. Those maps, if you think about it, if they were walkable, they are huge maps. Like, they are huge. Like, if you guys go back and play Persona 1, not the PSX one. Oh my god, don't play that one, because I think that was like... Actually, the PSX one does have that, like, you know, that camera view where you're walking and stuff, so that does have a better explanation, but never mind that. You're going to take forever, and you're going to pull your hair out, trying to battle those monsters. So, in Persona 1 and 2, the map was, like, pretty huge. It was the whole city, right? But it was split up into, like, 4 big sections. Pretty big, actually. So I'm assuming that this might be the same deal. So again, it's a callback to Persona 1 and 2. It's going to be big. Like, it has to be big, because it has to be interesting as well. I'm not going to say it's Akiba's Strip big, because that's a ridiculous amount of big. And of course that was full exploration. And I did explain in the analysis trailer that some of that gameplay section looked like you could just go left and right. You couldn't really explore as much. So I assume that it's tied to that. So it might be like a Tatsumi Port Island thing where you go to each section and it's kind of closed off, but it's in different sections. So... And also there's the trains that, yeah, I'm not sure anyone's touched up on them, but like the trains clearly let you travel to other places. So, you know, it's not like in Persona 4 where it was the train sequence at the beginning and that's it, or at the end, obviously. But like, I think the train will be interactable and you'll be able to travel in between places in Tokyo. I don't know much about Tokyo personally. I do know that I've seen Shibuya, like, not in person, but like I've seen them in games like Jet Set Radio and all that kind of stuff. All that shebang. So, what else is there? Turn-based, Fang. Well, we saw that from the trailer. It's definitely turn-based. It's not going to be some real-time stuff that Final Fantasy 13 pulled off. And by the way, I am playing that game again. Getting that game to run on 60 frames per second on PC is a nightmare. With improvements to previous Persona games. So obviously it's an enhanced version. Thank you. There will be randomly generated elements in the game. Okay, what do you mean by that, Atlas? What do you mean by that, Hashino? Does this mean that we'll get areas that we can level grind? I think that's it. Nah, it could just be like, on second thought, it could just be like houses or like places where maybe demon infested, where you just go in and it's like a side quest sort of thing. I'm looking at side quest because it's not part of the main quest. It's obvious that they say that, like major places of the story. So I'm not 100% sure what they mean by it emphasizes the burglary thing. That's what I mean, like it has to be heists, so maybe it has to do with that. Each character has their own distinct firearm for long distance weapons, however they aren't actual guns. Not actual guns, huh? What do you mean by that? Is it like in Persona 4? How they're not... No... They tell me like that. No, because it can't be like mental guns or anything. I'm watching Absolute Duo and they have like mental guns in that one, which is kind of weird. Well, one character has it, but essentially the military guy, because Japan. Okay, so obviously this in Japan it's very, very illegal to sell guns. Like, sell guns, take guns, hold guns. If you're holding a gun, that's really really bad, you know, people freak out. But what if it's just replicas that kind of mimic guns? It's definitely not evokers, like it's ridiculous, it can't be. But it's definitely something to think about, like, it's most likely just replicas made by the military guy, like he loves doing replicas, and maybe they fire like special bullets that we don't know about yet. Rubber bullet? No, not really. Alright, so next one is social links. Social links. A cooperation aspect of the game will involve helping supervisors around the town, which will somehow be beneficial in battle. Oh, yo, that's cool. Social links or a mechanic like them will have new twists while also pertaining to traditional elements of increasing various strengths of battles. Yo, this is awesome. Oh, that is my Facebook. Ignore that. This is awesome because what if? So what if this is the actual? This is just a social link from all the games we know about. But what if? From the looks of this paragraph, you have supervisors. So what if that is a collective social link? Like having that collective social link. So having, maybe doing more of these side quests and like doing good deeds, excuse me, makes them want to help, like mentally help you through them, like you create a connection with them. Or they could just go full Code Geass style and just have it so, like, I remember when Zero pretty much puts on the mask and he's on the television screen and he's saying, yo, what's up? Like, what if you are like that? I mean, the main character is voiced by frickin' Lelouch, and the frickin' the live stream showed the main guy putting on a performance like a phantom. He was the Phantom. So what if during parts of the game, that social link with the people is pretty much you on like a TV screen or internet, like an internet chat, like not even an internet chat, maybe an internet chat room from the start. Like, let me just do my my predictions, if you may. So, if you may. Here, what if at the start it's like a chat rooms, like small little chat rooms, like in Duraria, where they have the chat rooms where it's like all the main characters are talking to each other and they know each other. But what if that's the same? What if it's the Phantom who's introduced that way, like from the start, and it slowly builds into following, where people just can't get enough of this guy, and then he shows himself in like TV screens around Shibuya, and he's proclaiming something, and he's like doing all these things, all these acts, and people are like, yeah, you're helping somehow. I think you're a criminal somehow, and maybe that's what's gonna happen. I mean, I swear, the more I look at this game, the more I think about Duraria, and like I still need to catch up with that. But like, just to, like, because it's Shibuya, never Shibuya, so it's like kind of like similar, and that because Duraria shows the Shibuya lifestyle, and that's what I'm trying to pertain from that elements into this, because it makes sense. People are always on their phones. They're looking at anything like social networky. Like, what if the Phantom, like, Hashino wanted to create a character that is a modern day Lupin. So it makes sense for them to use technology to their advantage to really bring up his infamous like sort of image into the world, and you know, stuff like that. Sorry if I'm going a little bit off topic, but that's what I think it's gonna happen. Like, it's so cool if you think about it. So it's like a modern twist on like old school things, because like back in the old play days, they'd have the Phantom come in and make a performance, like in that live stream where he's just like, he does the gunfire, boom, boom, boom. I'm sure everyone in that audience was staring at the stage, waiting for him to appear. So what if that's the same sort of situation? What if he does that on a Shibuya level? Like, he treats it as a play on a Shibuya level. That's my thoughts. I'm going to keep going now, so this video doesn't go too long. Character design, Shigenori Sojima. The protagonist's seemingly docile nature is a profound ruse. Obviously, because we all pretty much fell for it. Okay, back. Persona 5's logo is meant to emphasize the youthful nature of the plot and characters, conveying a sense of speed and dynamism. The protagonist Persona Arsene is designed to be a little more old school, including his name, though making the whole thing come together and look stylish with that sort of constraint wasn't without its share of challenges. Its cape, wings are meant to portray the image of a thief who lurks around places where normal people don't belong. Now, this is cool. I love his designs. They're pretty cool. If you ask me if I prefer the character designs between SMT, the original SMT to SMT4 and to this, I would have trouble answering you, because I love all of them equally. I mean, Sojima kind of like has his own anime's unique aesthetic, so I kind of grew close to that because, you know, I love anime. But back on topic, the protagonist's seemingly docile nature is profound ruse. Obviously, because we all got fooled by that teaser trailer. We thought he was Harry Potter. I am not kidding. Like, we thought he was the most, generic protagonist. Super generic. Hell, I told my cosplay friend, who I have a link in the description, by the way, to watch the teaser trailer, right? And me, I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Oh my god, the teaser trailer. Oh my god, they showed the designs. Oh my god, this is amazing. It's pretty cool. I show it to her, and she's like, it's okay. It's okay, I guess. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, so clearly maybe Sojima really wanted that. He wanted just us to feel like, oh, he's everyday. He's not Bruce Wayne. What's his name? Kent Clark. That's it. Yeah, Kent Clark. Superman. You know. So we all got fooled, clearly. So that means he has dual personality. You know, clearly from the trailer. So Persona 5's logo is meant to emphasize the youthful nature. I can feel that. That's one of the really it's a very expand, widen, move kind of logos I've seen. So I could definitely see that. Speed, definitely when it was like flashing on the screen and stuff. I'm just picking up straws. The protagonist persona, Isane's design, yeah. Definitely old influences. Definitely with Persona 1 and 2. I love the fact that they're going back with the old style and blending in with the new style. I mean, it's the way that was meant to be. Caping Wings meant to portray the image of a thief. Definitely. So it's definitely ticking off the essentials of thief and stuff like that. You know. What was the joke? Everyone pretty much in the fanbase saying it's like a tuxedo mask, and like, what if the persona is more like this tuxedo mask than the main guy? But yeah, it's a really cool persona. I really like the design. It's really interesting, especially with like so much going on. Like so, like cosplayers, please. If you are planning to do a cosplay of that persona, I tip my hat to you, because that is one detailed persona. Do not ever cosplay as Mara. Forget the children. Music. So we're up to our last section, which is music. The song heard in the Persona 5 trailer is the instrumental version of the main theme. According to series composer Shoji Meguro, he also stated that he wanted to give the music an acid jazz-like feel elements to bring out the game's mood, including the main theme. Director Hashino, clearly that's a mess up there, it's fine. Was glad hearing the music synth jazz. Music goes hand in hand with the story of Lupin in its Phantom Thief motif, which this is surprising, because I thought that theme during the trailer was just a track that Meguro just made for the trailer. I did not think it was the actual Persona 5 instrumental, which is probably why it's so damn addicting to listen to. Because he takes his time making sure that those main themes are like spot on. Like you can listen to them like every day and they won't get sick of it. Or that you would have to find it's gonna be hard to get like rid of that sort of enjoyment. So cool, acid jazz like feel elements. So yeah, music top notch. Like I have complete faith in Meguro. He knows what he's doing. If a dude who can make a concert sold out every time, as being a game composer, that is insane. And I tip my hat to that guy, to Meguro every time, because he somehow pulled off the impossible. And yeah, that looks like that's all the information we've got so far. I mean, oh my god, there's a lot. And it's, oh my god, it's so good. Like seriously, there's so much stuff in here. I mean, check the link below. I'll send you to the link to the Persona fan channel post where this is all there, and so you can have a read yourself. Seriously, another thank you to those guys, because they managed to compile all of this. Yep, really cool. Yeah. Anyway, drop a like, comment, subscribe, and please keep it classy. That was terrible. Keep it cool. I still gotta work on these things, but anyway, have a nice day.